Joining us now, West Virginia Coal Association Vice President Chris Hamilton. Chris, you were the guy who gave Donald Trump the hard hat, I think, and said that your association is backing Trump. You're the guy, I think. Is that correct?
That's correct, absolutely.
Now, we've just gotten those numbers. Coal mining jobs down 16% in the last year. I put it to you, Chris, that that's because of the competition from very cheap natural gas, which a lot of utility companies are shifting to, moving away from coal and going to cheap natural gas. It's very hard in that environment to imagine getting those coal mining jobs back, isn't it?
Well, it is, and you know, the quantity of natural gas we have has certainly been a factor, but the real factor and the real culprit here to the loss of jobs in West Virginia and loss of state revenues is clearly this president's policies. The issues we've had there date back to when he first took office, which would have been January of 2009.
Do you think that Donald Trump would completely reverse those policies and bring jobs, real jobs, well-paid jobs, back to coal country?
Well, we certainly hope so. We think that he would bring a very successful business savvy and business approach to the regulatory aspect of things. And it would cut out the regulatory and permitting nonsense that we've experienced here in West Virginia and throughout all of coal-producing states.
Are you in a position of basically saying anybody but Hillary? Absolutely no Hillary, because she's attacked the coal companies and she's part of the Obama administration. Is that where you're coming from? Anybody but Hillary?
I believe so. I mean, Hillary's part of the inner circle of the Obama administration. She's participated in these major decision-makings over the years, and frankly, you know, we just can't stand any more of the National Democratic Energy Plan, and that's what's at play here, and that's what President Obama has successfully implemented throughout the last 7.5 years. And Hillary has indicated and has clearly committed that she's going to double down on his environmental and anti-coal policies.
What you're hoping for is a revolution in energy policy, back to encouraging fossil fuels. That's what you're hoping for, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. And there's markets out there that you know, are currently available for those fuels, and it just seems like we're placing restriction after restriction on our domestic production and our domestic consumption of those fossil fuels.
What do you say to the Greens who say, you do that, you go back to stressing, putting more fossil fuels, and you just raise CO2 emissions, and that's bad for the planet? What's your response to that?
Well, I mean, the total output of CO2 emissions from the United States is minuscule compared to the emission level that it's currently being produced by these countries that are benefiting by our lack of the consumption of fossil fuels. Their consumption of fossil fuels has increased dramatically as ours has been ratcheted down based on public policy. Okay. Besides that, I mean, the coal that's mined and consumed today is so substantially cleaner with virtually little, if any, emissions from the coal whatsoever.
Okay, we hear you, Chris Hamilton. We thank you for joining us. You vote tomorrow, and I believe that Trump will get your votes. We'll see. Thanks so much, Chris. We'll see you again soon.
Absolutely.